Hello and welcome to Tarot Sherpa. I'm Christine, and today I will be reading to you from the Angel Guide Oracle by Kyle Gray, illustrated by Jennifer Hawkyard, published by Hay House in 2020. I have just completed a review of this deck, so if you're interested in seeing all of the cards and a little bit about the author and illustrator, I will have a link to that video in the description box below. So we're going to just do a 3x3 spread, a 9-card spread here today as a general reading. And we will see what the angels have to tell us today. So I'm going to lay out all the cards and then we will get to the interpretation. Here we go. So we start with signs and reminders, honesty and communication, composure, and this top line represents home and family here. So signs and reminders, honesty and communication, composure. Middle is our relationships and romance, spiritual growth, vulnerability and freedom. Cut the cords. And our final line are going to be career and purpose. Do the work. Boy, does that fit. Divine timing and trust the universe. Well, I don't know if this applies to you guys, but it sure is applying to me today. And I'm hoping I'm bringing somebody else along with me. I would kind of hope that that this is helpful to a number of people out there. But we'll see. All right, so let's start here with home and family, signs and reminders, honesty and communication, and composure. So let's begin with signs and reminders. Angels and loved ones in heaven are sending you signs of their presence. You may be seeing number patterns, sequences, finding feathers, seeing the same birds at special times, or even feeling that you're being visited by a loved one or an angel in dreams or at some point in your day. They're all messages of support. You're on the right path and you're being guided to know that you will not walk this path alone. Angels love to send us signs because often we're not in a space where we can fully listen to their guidance, most of the time because we're too busy. They remind us that our angels and loved ones in spirit are with us and willing to help us. When you receive a sign, there's an important step that you must take in order to usher miracles in your life. Call in help. A sign is a message that help is available, so welcome it in with an open heart. So let's talk about this for a second, because how often through the day, and I know I see a lot of signs and reminders throughout my day. I mean, I've taken to collecting all of the feathers that seem to fall in my path, sometimes from nowhere. I see no bird, I'm not under a tree, and yet a feather seems to fall in my path. But the key is that we have to engage with the sign. We have to engage with the messenger. Angels aren't going to force us to do anything. About the only time that most teachers say that angels are going to interfere is if it's a life-threatening situation and it's not your time yet. Otherwise, you have to engage in this activity with the angels. They'll help you. They're not going to do it for you. Very, very interesting. So we have signs and reminders, which leads us into honesty and communication. So as we are getting these signs and reminders from the angels, we have to engage in honest communication with them, and maybe in the topic of the persons or people around us that we need to engage with in order to get the help we need or help in the situation, improve the situation that we're in somehow. Let's see if there's something further with honesty and communication here. So yes, honesty and communication. If you feel a person or situation is making you lose a sense of yourself or drawing you away from joy, it's time to speak up to make sure that you're heard. You're being guided to begin by lovingly connecting with your own heart and honor what you want for yourself and your life. So that's an important point to make right here, is that when you are communicating, you have to have a very definite set of boundaries, a definite goal in mind when you're beginning communication, especially if it's in a tense situation. You have to know what you want to gain out of it in order to really make progress. And the signs here are that the angels are with you to help you define that. I know there's been times in my life when it's like, I need to take action on something, but I just don't know what I want the outcome to be. And I've called upon angels to kind of help me discern what that best outcome could possibly be and to work towards it. So part of the help they bring is clarity. And if you have clarity, you can gain more clarity. It sort of builds on itself. If you're in a murky place and you don't know, you can ask them to shine the light on something that you need to communicate about, something that you need to take action on, the truth that you need to steer towards. They can provide that guiding light for you. But again, you have to take action. I often say that we are participants in our blessings. And finally, we have composure. So yeah, once you're in signs and reminders, you're getting that communication. Composure is key. Because if you get over emotional in any kind of tense situation or any kind of situation, maybe it's not tense, but you need to give direction to somebody. You need to explain something to somebody, and you have to stay composed. You have to stay from a place where you're ready to talk and to listen, but to kind of keep the emotions not dominating the conversation. Let's see if he has further tips on composure here. Further composure. Oh, turned right to it. This card encourages you to step into the energy of equanimity. Equanimity is a Zen-like state in which you refrain from reacting to a situation out of fear and separation. Right now, angels of pure divine light are helping you feel guarded and guided, encouraging you to recognize that you have an incredible force of love within you. So that's the extended message for composure right there. So when we're talking about home and family, yeah, use the signs to remind you that angels are present. Communicate with the angels and so that you can communicate with others. And then maintain your composure. Getting excited about something very, very rarely, and I mean excited in an angry way or a fearful way, very, very rarely ever leads to any kind of positive communication outcome. Usually adds just tension to the situation. Okay, so now we're going to move into the next line here, which is spiritual growth, vulnerability, and freedom, and cut the cords. And this is kind of more in your romantic relationships. So spiritual growth, I think, is a really interesting way to begin that, because when you're a person who is interested in spiritual growth, and I'm assuming that you are because you're watching a reading about angels, and so you're interested in angels, you're interested in the growth that a relationship, a conversation with angels can help you find, spiritual growth, that you're going to be looking to be in relationship with other people who have a similar mindset of spiritual growth. So beginning with spiritual growth as part of the relationship could be a relationship with angels, could be a relationship with your close circle of friends, family, partner, spouse, children, parents, community, the people that you're closest to. Spiritual growth. Let's look what Kyle says. So Kyle says, with regards to spiritual growth, this is a powerful time for you. Your growth and understanding are unfolding at an incredible rate, and you feel more connected than ever to your soul, gifts, and purpose. Your angels are encouraging you to keep up the good work and continue expanding your knowledge, experience, and spiritual connection. When this card arrives for you, it's a confirmation that the experiences and insights you have recently been divinely led. You may find yourself connecting to a particular energy at this time, or even experiencing angels or guides visiting you. This card is letting you know that those experiences are real and occurring because of your determination to open up spiritually. Every experience is a learning experience. Angels are acknowledging your determination and positive, kind-hearted, and upbeat energy that are allowing you to become the more wonderful person you are today. So, being a wonderful person will help you be in community with other wonderful people. So, you want to find, or you will be drawn to other people in relationship that match your vibration. I've known, I had a good friend who, she, in her words, made the mistake of marrying somebody when she was in a low vibration state, and she knew she was in a low vibration state. And the man she married was also in a low vibration state. But as she progressed over about a period of several years, she, being a person who was interested in spiritual growth, recognized this for what it was and began working on her spiritual growth, and she began to raise her vibration. Well, the man she was partnered up with did not. And there was this sense of tension that became irreconcilable. So, spiritual growth is a really, really important part of our relationships. If you find yourself that you're in a relationship where your vibration is here and their vibration is here, it is just not going to work. You're not going to find a way to meet in the middle and stay at your same vibration. You can drop back to a low vibration. You can encourage this person. You can't make this person do anything. You may be able to inspire them, but if they want to be low vibe, they're going to stay there. And you've got to figure out how you're going to manage that relationship. The key being, like attracts like. Keep that in mind as we go into vulnerability and freedom. Okay? Vulnerability and freedom. Angels are with you now to boost your confidence because they can see how harsh some of the experiences you have endured have been. And so, like my friend, let's talk for a second. Like my friend who went through this really, it was an experience she learned from, but it was a difficult experience on many emotional levels, which I won't go into. But as you can imagine, when you're in a long-term relationship with somebody that you've risen and they haven't, going through vulnerability and freedom, the angels understand that this has been difficult, and they're willing to help you in those kinds of situations. It may not, it may be that they can help you inspire this person to join you at this higher vibration, or it may be that they help you separate from that person as equitably as possible, with as much equanimity as possible, which is always going to be difficult. But when you are in a relationship with somebody who's a similar vibration, you do have the freedom to be vulnerable with that person. You can share in the struggles that you're having together, both spiritually and materially. And that is that to be in a relationship where you can be vulnerable with somebody is very freeing. But let's see what else Kyle says has to say about this. It isn't always easy to put yourself out there, but you are being encouraged to do so now. Drop the shields and barriers that you have put up because these walls are preventing the world from seeing your light. And your light is important. And that's one of the things a lot of people, particularly, a lot of other people on YouTube are talking about, that there is a resurgence of light coming into the world. We have a lot of difficulty. We have a lot of deprivation. We have a lot of darkness in the world. But we also have a lot of people that are really tapping into the light. And everybody's light makes a difference. Everybody's light is what's going to overcome the darkness that's happening in the world today. All right, so let's talk about cut the cords here. And what Kyle means by cut the cords, because there's a lot of ways you could take that. In spirituality, cords are the energetic bonds that connect us to a situation, person, or place. There are different types of cords, but in this context, they're connections to situations or people that can have negative and draining effect upon us. So, reflecting again on my friend who went through an unpleasant unpleasant marriage and divorce. Happy ending for my friend, though. She was able to separate from the low vibe guy she was with. She got some space. She reconnected with an old friend who became more than a friend, and they're now happily married and they have a couple of children. And it's really, I wouldn't say happily, I don't believe in happily ever after, but she found somebody who was her same vibration. And they were very willing to work through life together. So, by her example of cutting the cords, she was able to make space for that higher vibration relationship that she's in now, and is with somebody who, very, very genuinely loves her and she loves him, and it's really beautiful. So, while cutting the cords in that moment in time can be very difficult, it can open up the opportunity to get into that higher spiritual vibration with the right people. And it may not be a marriage, it may be a community, a job, the friends that you used to like to hang out and drink with in college are not the people you want to hang out with so much when you're 30 something and you're trying to build a life and be successful, and you're like, I don't need to sit around and drink with you and just, engage in any low vibe, gossipy activities or whatever it might be. Drugs, alcohol, anything low vibe. Drugs, alcohol, gossip, it's all too much of anything is too much. So wherever you need to cut the cords, could be people with belief systems that don't resonate with you anymore. Yeah, could be that as well. And that's hard because you're like, no, I've come up to a new vibration. And they're like, well, we don't understand this. You've always been part of our vibration. Our vibration's the best vibration. It's like, well, maybe it's not. And maybe you need to move on. And that's hard. Yep. Okay. So our final row. Let's look at this. Let's see if we can see this well. Let's move a little bit here. We're going to come down here to do the work, divine timing, and trust the universe. So when we're talking about career and work here, which is what our bottom career and purpose, do the work. So work is definitely part of a career. Let's see what Kyle has to say. If you're wondering whether to move forward or not, this card is a message from your angels to continue on. And that's one of my favorite phrases. Here we are with the keep moving forward. Do the work. Beautiful. You might feel that your current situation requires more time and energy than you're able to give, and there's a good chance that you're feeling disheartened or even drained. It's important to know that everything involved in the situation is pivotal to your growth, expansion, and spiritual connection. So back to spiritual growth up here. This card invites you to switch on the light you have within. Your light is important. It's time to be a star, to rise up, to get behind the wheel and drive the journey of your life. Yes, energy is going to be needed to hustle and push, but every single effort you make will pay off. Right now, you're sending out a signal, and that will create a wave that can lay down the foundation for the rest of your life. The extended message says being spiritual isn't always easy. It comes with price, and often that price is time and effort. That's why the angels call it light work. Not that it's light, or easy, but it's the light. Yes, as Kyle says, this isn't spiritual, quote, easy. This isn't spiritual vacation. This is spiritual work. And that does mean we have to work. All right. I'm loving this right now. So, yes, Kyle has I, of course, hit the nail on the head. That's why he's a best-selling author. That what we have to do is this work isn't easy. It's not easy to forgive. It's not easy to let go. It's not easy to deal with your shadows. It's not easy to try and rise above the anger and the distress of the world. Embodying the light is never easy. But the whole point of this is that we are not working alone. We don't have to do this alone. In fact, we're not supposed to do this alone. We're not able to do this alone. That is why we have angels that we can tap into. We can communicate with, we can get advice from, we can help understand our path because our angels know what our path is supposed to be. And they're ready and willing and excited to help us. They want to help us. Let us continue on divine timing. So, divine timing from Kyle. Life is always unfolding in the perfect times and space sequence. So, angel wisdom is encouraging you to move in a state of trust. Oh, wow. So, we've got divine moving in a state of trust right here with Trust the Universe. You may find yourself feeling impatient and unsettled, but instead of letting your ego and imagination pull you into a downward spiral, trust that your prayers are being answered and your plans are coming to fruition in a way that is meeting your needs rather than your wants. You may feel that your prayers aren't being answered or that your hopes aren't being realized, but you must know that the universe and your angels are always working towards the highest good and outcome that will best serve you. When this card appears, trust the process. All right, so let's just roll right into trust here. Although your faith may be challenged now, trust the universe. There's a reason for some experiences you've been going through recently. There are no coincidences in life, and everything is unfolding perfectly and according to the divine plan. Positive opportunities are coming your way. Trust in the process and the path that you're being led down. You will know it is the right path when you experience synchronicities and other signs and wonders. There are messages reminding you to trust the universe. There's no such thing as chance. All is well, and all is guided. Woo! This was good stuff today. So, James Van Praagh, who is a spiritual medium and also a very popular teacher, and we're going to do a deck of his in the coming weeks. But he's fond of saying that coincidence is God's way of remaining anonymous. So when you start seeing coincidences, realize that the divine and that angels are present and that you can trust in the guidance that they give you. And while sometimes it's hard to discern what the guidance that they're giving you is, the way to begin the path of discernment is to quiet your mind, to get into a meditative state. And there's loads of instructions on how to meditate. I think Kyle's got some advice in his books and on his website. James Van Praagh's got some really nice courses on meditation on his website. And so if you're not familiar with meditation, I encourage you to check that out because there are many different methods of doing this, but really the essence is to quiet down your own mind so that you can actually listen. You have to be quiet in your mind to be able to listen to the guidance that angels have to offer you. And they are ready and willing to answer those questions. And we live in a very transactional society. Particularly, in the United States, everything's for sale, anything's for money. The angels want to help you, and they're not in it for any gain. But as James Van Praagh kind of discusses, the currency of the angels is gratitude. If you want help from the angels, be grateful for the help that they've given. And when they give you help, when they show you signs, when you get the signs and reminders, when you're even able to keep your composure when things get tense, when you are kind of feeling in that flow state where things are coming together, where you're making those mental connections, where you're understanding something a little bit deeper that has eluded you before, thank the angels. Be grateful to them. Be grateful for their help. And that will create this cycle of opportunity. Whereas you're grateful they can help you more. The more grateful you are, the more they can help you. And it builds on itself in a really beautiful, beautiful way. So, yes, if you are looking to get in tune with your angels, this is a great deck to encourage that. But I also encourage you to look into Kyle Gray's website, also James Runpraw's work on understanding angels, and just see how that can help your spiritual development and growth. It's really, really amazing what angels can help you with and what they can do, and how you can kind of learn to perceive them. So I encourage you, keep studying angels, keep listening, keep watching, look for the signs. All right, that's what I've got for you today. I hope this has helped, and I hope you will join me for another video. Thank you for watching. Bye for now.